guys, how's it going? I don't even know what day it is right now. It's like Friday night, I think. I did put out a video last week. Was gonna, but didn't. Felt really bad about it. So, I'm just gonna throw something together right now really quick. Just for the sake of being here for you guys and catching up and whatnot. So, you know, we're just gonna do a quick little thing right now. See what's good. So, yeah, I've been feeling kind of weird, you know? I have all this motivation. Well, okay, I'm gonna retract that statement. I have all this inspiration to do all kinds of stuff. I have all these ideas. I do have the motivation, but it's just been this weird, like, almost like, I don't even want to say emotionally heavy, like it's been emotionally heavy, but there hasn't necessarily been anything going on to trigger that. I've just been feeling a really heavy energy myself, you know what I mean? And like incorporating the fact that I'm in a super transitional place. I have all this stuff I need to get done, all these goals that I want to accomplish, and it makes it kind of weird, you know, when I have all this internal stuff, but like bringing it into the external is a little overwhelming right now. It's just kind of weird and unsure. So we're just gonna do a reading real quick. See what's up. Got my Miss Unicorn here. I forgot to introduce you guys. Got her from Wally World, because Walmart be lit like
food,
that.
There's value. Then there's fresh value from Subway. Like the 6-inch oven roasted chicken for
Just pretty
just
comfy.
$2.99. It's seasoned.
Pretty fluffy. Okay, so we're ending up with a pretty straightforward message already because I'm halfway through the deck and we don't even got anything on the board yet. Okay, pretty weird. It's another one of those readings that did not go like I expected or anything that has happened before, but I feel confident now because the last time that happened it was on point, so let's do it. Big turbulent changes happening in our relationships. Five of Hearts. You need to be adaptable and dynamic right now. We're having a lot of stuff come up. I feel like some of us are having maybe new relationships arise, or even in old relationships, new energies arise. A lot of us are doing a lot of self work and processing through a lot of stuff, and you know, like that can translate within your immediate circle if those people are willing to work on those things with you. Otherwise, it's new relationships coming about right now that are giving the opportunity to do things differently. And basically, like, you're going to do things differently and you're going to change a pattern and you're going to experience changes that happen from that, or you're not going to change and the rug's going to be pulled out from underneath you and you're going to have some turbulence in your life due to your relationships. It's funny, always a common theme. So I think that this week is a really, really, really good time. I know for me especially, it's been, you know, like rewriting old scripts. I've been doing that in old previously established relationships that I have, which I'm so grateful for because it's, you know, I reached a point where I had to take space from a lot of people, and it's hard when you care so much because you worry if they're ever going to come around or if you guys are ever going to be able to meet at a place in the middle again. I've been having the past few months I set a lot of boundaries and cut a lot of people out, and the past week I've been having a lot of people reach back out to me, but it hasn't been necessarily like the way I thought, where it was like gonna trigger me and end badly. It has turned out a little differently than I expected, to where I've been setting boundaries for like months now, and people are finally beginning to like honor them a little bit, but more so because they've been like experiencing their own things, having their own experiences that are kind of making them be able to like see the boundaries that I was setting, and to be able to kind of meet me more in the halfway again. Which is like, I'm so grateful for, because I care about my people so much, and it like breaks my heart to have to leave relationships like kind of on the burner like that. But further than that, I've been noticing for myself the theme being that like these people that I've had karmic ties to and that I've set boundaries with recently, or like, you know, like fairly recently, while the like histories and stories are being rewritten, and I'm given the opportunity for them to come back and for us to like handle things or pursue things differently, I'm still having to keep in mind at all times that at any moment, like, either of us could engage on the same level, and that we're both healing still, we're both only human, and more than anything, like, you know, I feel like a lot of the time when we have these kind of relationships, we've taken space from whatever, like, we just want to jump right back into them because we care about this person so much. But now is the time, while you're rewriting your stories with the boundaries you're setting just within the relationship, now is the time to rewrite the stories for yourself too, and not just be caught right back into being so immersed in their energy just because you love them so much that you jump back into the same patterns, or you begin to let your boundaries slip again. So, next card, 3 of clubs. I got an ad to skip over here. Anyways, 3 clubs. So, I feel like this card coming up, because we've had this card come up a few times, for any of you that have seen some of my previous videos, we've been talking a lot about putting in work for your self-care, putting in work for stepping into just your skills and your comfortability, your authenticity, your power, your realness, and just like being able to put in the work to like the work and the beautiful experiences, like those have been kind of the themes to like kind of build this image of ourselves. So like a tottering between empowering experiences and work opportunities for us to like address our shadow and whatnot. This card manifesting in clubs now is telling me that now's the time that all that work we've been doing is gonna be like enacted more. Okay, so it's a time where the energy could potentially begin to be coming into play now. So whereas before it was in the beginning stages of you just working on yourself and developing yourself, now we're coming into a place where like that person that you were developing into is going to serve your goals in your daily life, and like that person, we develop all these coping skills for, you know, maybe past situations that maybe were helpful then and they're not helpful anymore. They're not helpful now. And so that's why we've had to kind of rewrite these stories and rewrite these codes within ourselves, step into our power. I did say one time before that we were kind of like having this moment of like almost like playing with it and training and experiencing it, and now is the time where this energy that you have been honing and manifesting and like working on for whatever like amount of work that you've been putting in is going to begin to be embodied in not like your daily life, but in the opportunities that present themselves to you, whether that be opportunities in relationships, in money, in like, you know, just anything, your goals. I think that this is a time where not only that person that you've been honing and creating is the the energy that you need to fully step into and embody now to be successful. And so I feel like we've been having a lot of little spurts of inspiration, like I was just talking about, little spurts of inspiration and then opportunities to work through our shadow. I think that the card manifesting in this suit is now telling us that we've got all the practice, we've got all the information, we're going to continue to develop those traits, but it's not going to be the same like facilitating energy. It's not going to be the same energy of your growth, of like the inspiration and then the shadow work back and forth. This is going to be more so, and like I said, your opportunities, and so the things that start showing up in your daily life, you know what I mean? Like the calls you've been making, the steps you've been putting out there, the action that you've been taking. This is all that you've been doing. This is how it's going to be coming back to you now, basically. And while we're in that space of seeing where things are going to come back to us, it's not going to be as easy when before it was that that tug, that push and pull between the shadow work and the inspiration. You know, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a little bit trickier in some aspects to stay in this energy and to stay honed and stay aware, because it's not going to look like so much of the emotional like heightenedness back and forth. It's going to look more like the way that you react to your daily situations. I feel like there's going to be, I don't necessarily want to say a stagnant energy, but like in comparison to the tug between the inspiration and the shadow work, like that's pretty emotionally intense. This is going to be more focused on just like your like I said, your day-to-day life and the opportunities that are being presented to you because of it. Not your day-to-day life and the work that you're putting in, but your day-to-day life and what you're getting back because of what you've put out. And it's vital that you remember this person that you created, like when you were putting that energy out. When you start being in this space, it's going to be a space between receiving and like waiting, basically. You're still obviously going to need to be putting in your steps and like putting in the work. Like all that shit you've been doing is basically going to go on autopilot now, because you're going to be focusing on a little bit different stuff, like in your more direct relationships, instead of like just yourself and that power. Moving out from that into a focus of our relationships and the less emotionally intense energy. A lot of the time when we feel stagnant or we're waiting for something, that's when our doubts can set in, that's when our fears can set in. So now is the time that it's like super, super vital and important for you to remember that person that you created and to continue to be able to embody that despite the not having the emotional charge. Because it's easier to embody something like this, believe it or not, when you have that emotional charge. It can be easier for your doubt and stuff to set in a more mundane situation than maybe a more like tragic situation. So just, you know, taking the time to step back and observe what's going on around you. Remember the person that you've been creating and just stand in your authenticity. Stand in that person, and come from a place of receiving now, and just like pay attention to what's happening around you and observe things like from a non-judgmental kind of like detached standpoint. You remain in your authenticity and this person that you've been honing, and then you can keep that store of power that you have within yourself. So next card is King Clubs. So okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. These first two cards I'm gonna consider a group, and then the next two cards I'm gonna consider together for kind of two separate vibes. So the first vibe, everything we just talked about, you know, about the first card was your relationships, the kind of changes that you're going to be experiencing, the opportunities to do things a little differently and to not react from such an emotionally triggered place. Whole vibe, just being able to observe from a non-emotional place and to make decisions in that aspect. So while that's happening, and while that's like the vital thing that we're going to be focusing on and the vital energy that we need to tap into to be successful, okay, that's what we need to be successful. On the other side of this is going to be the crazy shit that's going down that you don't even need to be a part of, by the way. But you do need to be aware of, and you do need to be able to understand things from an honest perspective. Like, even anything that's happening, like, we got all kinds of crazy shit happening in our country right now, and all around the world, mind you. Like, I mean, honestly, what's going on with the impeachment and stuff isn't even, like, nearly as big as some of the shit that's happening in pretty much every country but our own right now. So it's like, you need to be aware of those things, and you need to be getting your own information and coming to, like, honest conclusions, and, like, doing your research, or, like, whatever the fuck. Like, if you don't even want to pay attention to it, that's your choice, whatever. But you need to be aware that this shit is happening at the same time so that you can protect yourself. So we have the King of Clubs and the Eight of Hearts here. Basically just the vibe that I'm getting for this. Everything goes two ways too, guys. I know that I kind of go back and forth and, like, kind of give things multiple meanings. It might be kind of hard to keep track of. So first, I want to say that this is a big opportunity for men to step up in their, just to be super blunt and to the point, for men to step up in their relationships and to fully, like, address their shadow. Like, not even shadow aspects of themselves, but, like, their full fucking, like, gnarly shadow. 8 is represented by Pluto to me. It's, like, kind of a Scorpio energy. This is the kind of thing that will, like, burn shit to the ground to fucking build something new and get shit done. This is the kind of fucking energy that wants to delve and dig into shit and investigate shit. So I think that it's really, really important for you guys right now to be doing your own research. This is a lot of different energies, so I'm just going to try to lay it out as best as I can, okay? So first of all, I just want to say it's really important for you guys to be doing your research on what's happening in the world right now, because, like, with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, that has a lot to do with our authority structures and things like that, and all these new, like, paradigms that we're stepping into. So it's really, really important for you to be, like, on top of that shit and to be in a position of empowerment in your own knowledge, so that, like, you know, if and when shit does get super crazy, you're not disoriented, you're not confused, you're not panicked, because you know what's up, because you've done your research, like, you have your relationship with yourself, like, you have your clear vision of what's true and what's not true. So I think that that's one thing that's really, really important, is for us to be delving in and doing the work and investigating and digging at shit right now, but remaining from that detached, non-emotional place, okay? Next energy from that, I want to say, I had already started touching on this a few minutes ago, so this is going to be men facing their shadows. I've had in the past hour, it's kind of weird, I had 3 different people on my newsfeed in the past hour talk about how they had some altercation in a public setting today that ended in violence and the other person attacking them. Super wild. I try to pay attention to everything that's happening around me, you know, so I think this is a time that it's going to be put super, super under the spotlight, like, men's shadows and, like, their sicknesses and their, like, whatever problems they have. That's going to be, like, the main focus, and it's either going to look like them really, really stepping up and, like, healing their relationships and healing themselves and stepping into, like, this king of clubs has the potential to be, like, the most, like, benevolent ruler, you know what I mean? Like, this is like the spiritual ruler. This is the ruler that rules from right and wrong. This is like the fated ruler. And this is somebody that's, like, fully stepped up in their spirituality, somebody that's fully honest with themselves and with the 8 of Hearts and relationships, having to do with our shadow selves and shit, you know, or on the converse side, having to do with abundance. And that's the next thing I kind of wanted to, like, delve into, is this is either going to be people, like, really, really addressing those things and stepping into that place of, like, accountability brings you, like, authenticity, and it brings you power in itself. It brings empowerment. So this is a place for people to be empowered in their relationships by their accountability, or this is a place of people just not, and just going into like some super weird, so I want to say the king on the king of clubs on the reverse side. So that's either like the benevolent, like spiritual ruler, or that's like, I'm giving it a Pisces vibe. It's gonna be either that or super disillusioned. What's the word? Like delusioned and disillusioned. And just like completely emotionally overtaken, operating from a complete emotional place. So you're either operating from a complete emotional place to the point where like people are literally going psycho and like attacking people in public and shit, you know what I mean? This is in your relationships with other people, and like even just me talking about people getting attacked by strangers, you know, it's not a close relationship, but it's still having to do with like interrelating with people is the main thing. So this is either going to be people getting super wild on their emotions, so wild on their emotions that they are literally confused about reality and can't even see shit clearly at all, and then just like continue this vicious cycle of like destruction. And beyond relationships, I think this has the potential to go to the point of like these people have already burnt their friendships and now they're just like attacking random strangers, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. Like this is like a complete disillusionment and disconnection from anything that is community or reality or like anything. This is just like floating into the fucking ethers of weirdness. Otherwise, this is people like stepping the fuck up, and men stepping the fuck up, especially in their relationships and in their shadow selves, and taking accountability for that shit and becoming like divine, enlightened, spiritual beings because of it, who are able to support their communities and their families because of it. And definitely do your research, because this is what this is about too. This is about being aware from an I can't even talk right now, you guys. From an unattached place, an emotionally unattached place. So we've already done all the work, you know, like, we're always going to have work to do, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, we've done a lot of work recently, and we've been super immersed and enmeshed in our own shit, and this is going to be kind of a heavy energy that comes up that is going to give you the opportunity to, like, continue to be enmeshed and immersed in your fucking, like, weird emotional shit that you've already fucking gone through, you've already processed, you've already been in those weird dark places a million times. So, like, this energy that's going to be around is going to be giving you a lot of opportunities, and that's opportunities to engage in past patterns and behaviors, or opportunities to engage differently. And the way that you're going to engage differently is by remembering that person that you've created in your inspiration and in your heartache. Like, both of those things in your intensity. Remember that person that you've created, that, and kind of like tuck it away a little bit into yourself, and just, when you do that, you're able to fucking be more receptive, and you're able to like look around you and notice what's happening and shit from a non-obtrusive standpoint and a non-emotional standpoint. And because of it, you're not like, you know, freaking out because you think you're gonna get killed by the coronavirus or some shit. And you're not getting into fucking arguments with random strangers on the internet and like getting punched fucking downtown just trying to go to the library because, like, you know what I mean? Or just trying to do your laundry. So, I mean, like, this is not to say anything, because we all end up in crazy situations, but if we had been aware in the first place, like, maybe we would have seen that this homeless person was, like, screaming on the corner and shit, and maybe I wouldn't have wanted to run into them, you know what I mean? It's like, people are gonna be crazy. People are gonna be crazy. Shit's gonna be crazy. And it's gonna be intense, and, like, it's your responsibility, though, like, how, like, if you're gonna be a part of that, if that's gonna be your reality, how you react to that, you know? But you can't just choose your reality by ignoring another reality. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be a very great situation. So, like, all that love and light bullshit, like, fuck that shit. Go out and fucking open a book, do your research, you know what I mean? Your time is really valuable, and knowledge is even more valuable. So, I'm just gonna pull, I don't know how many of these I'm gonna pull. I might pull 3, I might pull 1, who knows. We'll see what happens. This video is already kind of long. It's like really a pain in the ass to upload them on Facebook. We'll try Instagram and see if that goes any better. Okay. I'm just going to shuffle this deck 3 times. And I'm going to express so much gratitude for the fact that I have motivation to do this video right now, because I have not had that motivation at all. I'm going to shuffle this deck 2 more times, and I'm just going to express so much gratitude for all the abundance that I have in my life, and the fact that I'm always safe and cared for and protected, no matter what. I'm just going to shuffle this deck 1 more time and express so much unending love and gratitude for being able to pursue knowledge and being able to be self-accountable and aware. And because of that, I can take responsibility for my healing and my empowerment and everything, you know. I'll pull 3. Okay. It's funny. Okay. So, this is Enthusiasm, Dill. It says, ideas and information are abounding, and now you will need to share your own, as well as taking time to listen, and perhaps finding some alignment or illumination with inspiration of information of others. I super love that, because that's the vibe I've been getting. I've been trying, any free moment that I have, I've been trying to just be intaking some sort of valuable information, and it can be really daunting on my own. There's so much information to wade through everywhere on the internet, and books, libraries, anything. The most valuable thing for me has been other people sending me valuable resources, videos, articles, books, different things. I've like become a junkie for that kind of shit. So definitely stepping outside yourself a little bit so that you're able to utilize your community better, and you're able to utilize the tools around you better, and that you are able to get that inspiration from the world around you a little bit, instead of being so immersed in our own shit right now. Be very careful though to protect how and what, this is so relevant, you guys. Be very careful though to protect how and what you share, as gossip, miscommunication, and miscommunication of motivations and the jealousy of others can also arise now. So it's funny. Definitely been being more aware in how much I share, what I'm sharing, and whatnot. It kind of just called direct attention to the fact that any kind of like gossip or jealousy, like anything inciting negative emotions right now, could cause a lot of miscommunications and cause a lot of crazy emotions to arise, is what this is saying. And so yeah, that's really helpful. That's kind of elaborating on what I was saying earlier about being aware of what's going on around you with other people and being in that emotionally unattached place. But I really like that this just kind of added to that to clarify, you're coming from an aware and emotionally unattached place, but you're still aware, you're still paying attention, and you're not only paying attention to them, but you're paying attention to yourself and like what you're revealing and how it's just like what I just said with people getting attacked in public and shit, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it sucks that happened, but maybe if you would have like been a little bit not so focused on, you know, yourself and what was happening in your immediate reality, you would have been able to use your empathy a little bit and your awareness a little bit, and to look around you and see that maybe this person might not be very stable for you to be bumping into or some shit, you know what I mean? So it's all about discernment right now. Very, very, very important for you to be discerning, because with all this crazy energy and all the tensions that are happening in the world on top of that, like you take this kind of energy on a personal level and then you add all this global scale shit, and people are going to be on edge because they're scared. If people that don't understand this shit, you know, that are feeding into the mass unrest and whatnot, they're scared, and so that is like putting people on edge too. So it's just like, you need to pay attention right now. On top of that, you need to be paying special attention on, like, not just to what other people are doing, but on how you're coming across. And not just how you're coming across, because that kind of puts it in a selfish place of like how you're going to be received and like how you're presenting what you're saying, and that's like kind of putting it from a selfish place. But this is more coming from a place of like being receptive of that other person and realizing that like you might be in an emotionally sound enough place to be considerate of somebody who's not in that emotionally sound of a place. And that, more so from that, isn't even necessarily coming from a place of compassion, but coming from a place of self-preservation at this point. The young, including children, are focused, and their needs and sometimes demands will be forefront. I can feel that in my life. A discovery in new people, groups, and ways of living joyfully and truthfully in your true spirit are indicated. So, I really like that too, you know? I'm coming into some new opportunities, and I'm really excited for the new energy that's going to be coming in for me. So, you know, referring to new people, groups, ways of living joyfully, truthfully, in your true spirit, you know? That's exciting. I'm ready for it, you know? It's been a process. We're getting there. Expansion. Okay. There's an opportunity for development and even the end of challenges that may have been difficult. Wouldn't that be nice? An end to our challenges that have been very difficult. An end in sight. I'm feeling it. It's just taken a little while. It's time to look for a new direction or to examine more closely any possibilities that have presented themselves to you. Super relevant for me. Change is coming, but it may be more demanding than you anticipated until you get your bearings. This is super on point for me. There may be a betrayal that is very hard to accept and may actually come as a shock. If you have been suffering in any way from any challenge, this is a reminder to stop stewing in your anger, sadness, or grief, as now is the time to move on. Definitely. So stepping outside yourself into a more empowered and inspired place. And change is coming, but it may be more demanding than you anticipate until you get your bearings. I'm totally getting that vibe right now, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of things I think have come pretty easily to us in the past, and they're still going to come just as easily to us now, but it's like we're going to have to take a little bit more of a realistic approach to it, what with everything being in Capricorn. So it's just little steps. Like, don't get overwhelmed by looking at the big picture. Just do what one little thing that you can do to get to your next thing in the moment, you know what I mean? Just like whatever one little task that you can do. And like, once you get in the groove of things and once things aren't so scattered, it's going to feel a lot better and it's going to come naturally. So don't get discouraged by, like, you know, how it might feel a little difficult to do this stuff right now. It's not actually all that difficult. It feels difficult, and it can be easier to I think I'm running out of space here. It can be easier to... Totally lost my train of thought. I gotta wrap this video up, guys. So, open our last card. Sorry about that. I don't... Hope nobody was, like, hanging on my last words or anything. Feel free to, like, reach out to me or anything if you want any clarification or want to talk about anything. We'll make time for you if you are actually, like, wanting to talk about something meaningful. I just don't like to make time for small talk. So, and I might not get back to you right away. But I will get back to you. Open. There's a new beginning on the horizon and the possibility of a lot of different energies coming together to make things happen. This is so crazy. Cooperation is needed. This is wild, you guys. And you could play the pivotal role or hold the key to releasing the energy required. New ideas, inspirations, and creative solutions are forthcoming. Those who work in creative art fields will find this to be a very busy and fruitful time. Personal growth and enthusiasm are supported at the moment. and it could be a time of birth in any form. So definitely, I think, I love how it says, the possibility, okay, a new beginning on the horizon, possibility of a lot of different energies coming together to make things happen, and cooperation. I really, really, really love this because that's why I've been feeling so scattered, because I have all these different areas, all these different energies, all these different goals, all these different perspectives and ideas and places that I'm at. And I've been working at like bringing them together so that I can take the next tangible steps in my life. And so basically this is almost just an indication of the fact that that shit is going to come together with a little bit of intention on your part, which you've been doing. So it will come together and there's no need to stress. And that cooperation, that's another thing I haven't touched on, but is a huge, huge, huge vibe right now. I just want to say real quick, just shifting your perspective, expanding your perspective a little bit to better utilize the tools that are around you. We've been programmed into so many thought patterns of shame, guilt, obligation, not wanting to take up too much space, not wanting to have too much reward, not able to be abundant in any way. And now is a time to, and it's the year of the rat, same shit, like becoming more resourceful with the shit that's already in front of you and has been in front of you the whole time. You're just thinking about it a little bit differently, you know? And this is not like, this is going to be an energy where a lot of people think that they can just like climb on the backs of other people and like fucking step on people on the way and like take advantage of people and like utilize that aspect of that hustler energy. But more so if you want to be successful in this energy, because that puts you in a place where you're by yourself and you're going to be forever hustling for yourself if that's the case, and you're just like going to continue to get fucked over. But if you can utilize the tools that are around you, shift your perspective to fucking just put shit together a little bit differently, ask for what you need a little bit better. Seek better things for yourself instead of seeking survival things. Seek a better job. Seek a better car. Seek a better living situation. Seek better relationships. And the way that you're going to do this is a majority of the tools that are around you. When I'm talking about utilizing all the tools that are around you, and this isn't even like at all coming from a place of using people, but it's from a place of cooperation and symbiosis. And sorry, I got some bass in the background. This is a really, really important time for you to utilize your community and the resources that are around you. Everything that you have, everything that is around us that is not nature is like, has been created by another person, by another person's passions. You have so many tools at your disposal. We feel so segregated, and we feel worried to like even like talk to a lot of certain people or to like delve certain situations, but it's time to transcend all that shit and to become more cooperative as a whole. We trade shit, you know what I mean? Like, we do shit for each other. Like, we utilize the resources that are in our community. Say we have like 5 people that are in a community that all need different shit, they all need 5 different things, and they all each have 5 objects. None of the objects that they have are the objects that they need. And if they would have all just stayed in their own fucking houses the whole time with the object that they don't need and not being able to find the thing that they need, then that's just a cycle that is just going to, a vicious cycle that's going to continue to replay. It's not until those people are able to come out of their comfort, out of their homes, and talk to the people around them in a collaborative way to find out that, oh, this person has what I need, that person's got what she needs, and like collectively we have everything that we need right here. This is about stepping into that you're the rat energy, utilizing what's around you from a more cooperative standpoint, and you're able to do that when you don't feel, there's multiple things that come into play, you know, it's a lot of worth issues, it's a lot of survival issues, but lost my train of thought. That's about all I got for tonight. It's like 1 a.m, so I love you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for bearing with me and my scatteredness at times. So much love. Drop a comment if you want. Love you guys.